Hey you, welcome back to the Game Room. Today we journey back to the year 2002 where the PlayStation was finally entering its twilight years and the PlayStation 2 was devouring everything in its path. Among the releases that Christmas was a game called Beyblade, based on the Japanese animation and toy line of the same name. Priced at the wonderfully affordable $9.99, it was an easy purchase for kids and those parents who needed to support their kids' favorite pastime. The question remains though, why was it only a $10 game? That's what I'm here to answer. So what is a Beyblade? A Beyblade is essentially just a top. You know, that simple toy that spins and then you watch it till it wipes out. In the Beyblade universe though, there are battle-ready devices assembled by various competitors all looking to be the best blader in the world. The PlayStation game is based on the original series, but since then there have been two expansion series called Metal and Burst. The toys had a pretty good following, and rightfully so. Look at some of these things. They're fantastic. It's like a Power Ranger Zord and a top had a baby. Kids, ask your parents. Here in the Beyblade universe, the tops are actually assembled from up to 5 pieces and sent into battle via a launcher. These pieces are sorted into sections. The topmost piece is the bit chip. In real life, it's a simple decorative piece, but in the game and anime, it houses a magical beast, similar to how the Pokemon hide in the Pokeballs. When the player reaches a certain amount of bit points in battle, you can unleash these beasts during the launch and the fight as well. Each beast has a different element and attack, but in the end do relatively the same thing. The next piece is the attack ring, the offensive part that will collide with the opponent's Beyblade. What these parts do are based on the shape they take. This can also change based on its spinning left or if it's spinning right. Sitting in the dead center is the weight disc. This is the defensive part of the blade, and depending on the weight and shape, it can provide different capabilities. By example, the balance disc will keep your top upright, while the heavy disc adds so much heft to it that it can take a massive hit without going careening off the edge. Sitting, quite literally, in the fourth slot is the spin gear. These are optional internal gears that sit in the base piece. Depending on the gear, these can add force to specific spin directions, allowing for stats to be increased in matching categories. While these aren't needed to build a blade, some of the bases actually have them built in. Speaking of bases, they're our final part in the build. The base is what everything else sits on and is what makes contact with the arena. Like the other sections, you can choose from several bases that each have their own special uses. For example, the spiral change base will actually change from an attack mode to an endurance mode each time it hits the opponent. The jumping base provides an extra set of wings to attack, but can leave you open to a huge deflection off the attacking blade, like I found out the first time I tried using it. Once you have your blade assembled, you can then use the launcher to send it off into the arena. These bounce between left and right spin styles and then have various other small designs. With both halves of the toy set now complete, it's time to enter the arena. Beyblade as a game offers 2 modes, Tournament and Open Battle. The former pits you against 7 rivals, 3 nameless faces, and then 4 randomly chosen characters from the TV show. Here, you will create your own character to do so, but more on that later. The latter is Open Battle, where you can fight as your created character or any of the featured TV show characters. If you choose to play as your created character, you can earn currency and experience just like you do in the tournament. The currency is used to purchase new parts in the Beyblade shop, so you can create the perfect blade as well up to 2 more as backups, essentially 2 extra lives in case you lose in battle. Both modes follow the same rules. In order to win, you must score 4 total points. If the opponent misses the launch or stops spinning mid-fight, that's 1 point. If you successfully push them off the arena, that's 2 points. Should the Beyblade run out of hit points, it'll explode into pieces. If you don't have a backup, then you forfeit the match. The majority of fights will almost always end with 2 ring outs, and I've never had a Beyblade explode yet. Gameplay is relatively simple, if not repetitive. Once the round starts, you control the angle and speed of the launch, and once deployed, can steer the Beyblade's motion around the arena. If you successfully press X as the blades collide, you'll earn legend power and reduce damage inflicted to you. This legend power is what fuels the previously mentioned mythical creatures. Once you have 25 legend points, you can summon the creature to attack the opponent. If not dodged, you'll reduce one of the rival's stats. If you're attacked, you can press the same button to dodge as well. Some of the pieces also offer launch special attacks, doubling their attack power. Having used it several times, I wasn't really sure it helped because whenever I did use it, I never actually ran into the other player on launch. Which brings us to the overall gameplay. Everything I just told you took just as long as it takes for you to see everything in the game. Despite featuring the anime's infamous Blade Breakers team, the DJ, and even a cameo from the chairman, the characters have nothing to do. Every character in the game has a launch quote, a loss and win quote, and then the same two facial illustrations. Everything else is just the blade fighting or blade construction. No story mode, only one arena, a really confusing menu system, and a truly ridiculous shopping experience. Purchasing items in the game is the equivalent of a role-playing game's grind, only it's even worse. Winning a match earns you 10 coins, and losing gets 5. If you actually make it through the tournament, you'll earn 20 coins and a new piece for your collection. To put that in perspective, buying one of everything in the shop will set you back 4,105 coins. If we remove the possibility of winning the tournament, that means at the minimum, it would require you to win 411 matches. At an average of 3 minutes per match, that's almost 21 hours of playtime, and that's if you win every time. If you're not very good and luck isn't on your side, this can take forever, and we're talking about a game whose entire gimmick is the same 3 minutes over and over and over again. To dogpile on that problem is that for all purposes, the battles are completely random regardless of what you slap onto the Beyblade. Going into this review, I only had about 2 pieces per layer bought, and from just those 2 and the sheer repetition of having to start over and over and over again, the experience and leveling took care of any of the part deficiencies I had. There were fights where the physics didn't make any sense, and then other fights where I won by not doing a damn thing. Literally not even pressing X to defend against the attack. This inconsistency in the opponents and physics brings us to the overall biggest problem with Beyblade, and that is that it feels like a rush job. If you take into consideration the severe lack of animation in anything other than the blades themselves, the minimalist writing, and the hilariously padded out shopping experience, the game comes off as a quick way to hopefully make a few bucks on a then fad that may not be around much longer. Granted, hindsight is now 16 years old, and it's obvious that Beyblade as a toy was able to succeed with multiple iterations and a dedicated fan base, but then that only emphasizes the problems on the disc. If you'll pardon the pun, the final rip in the experience is at the very core of the toy's experience. Assembling the ultimate Beyblade unit is woefully downplayed in a game and trapped in a disastrous menu system. The dedicated screen used to build the blades and buy parts is trapped behind a weird double layer of visuals. While you can see a set amount of options at the top, you'll only have access to the Beyblade specific menus. If you press triangle, you'll open up the other options and the shop, but if you do this without completing the Beyblade you were working on, you're forced to complete it before you can exit out. If you can't finish it due to insufficient pieces, you're forced to dismantle and unregister it. The pieces that you do have access to are also woefully small in their on-screen representation. You can barely see the design aesthetics of the parts, much less the toy as a whole. When you combine this with the other faults of the game, there's really no repairing the damage done. Speaking of, here's a handy game tip if you do play. In between battles, your guide will offer to repair your damaged top for a nominal fee. For the love of all spitting tops, do not ever take him up on this offer. The cost is usually 150 coins or higher, and in repairing the amount of health back, you'll actually lose stats you spent the last hours working on. Some may see this as an oversight, but I can guarantee you it was just another way for the developers to take your in-game money and time and force you to just keep playing those same 3 minutes over and over again. When all is said and done, Beyblade is a victim to its own creators, giving you all the pieces to play with and nothing to really use them on or get the chance to really take them for a spin. For a game so focused on tops, it spends most of its time dive-bombing the bottom of the barrel. What makes it nerve-wracking is that after legitimately finishing the only 2 modes of play, I can't really score it that low. If you use a Game Shark to unlock all the shop pieces, or just give yourself infinite money to do so, you can sidestep most of the dumpster fires and find actual fun in investigating and creating all the different Beyblades, even if it's just by yourself. If this hasn't scared you away in wanting to buy a copy, I have some good news for the thrifty and even better news for the toy collectors. Beyblade has never gone above its original $10 price point, and in some cases can be had for even cheaper. If you're looking for a collectible toy part, in Japan they released a sequel called Beyblade 2002, and it included the first run of a golden ring. Thankfully for you, even the Japanese version didn't do that well, so you can also pick up the complete import set for $15 shipped. Note that while the toy piece should be compatible with your American toys, you'll need a Japanese or a modded PlayStation to play the Japanese game, and know how to read Japanese. Alright guys, I leave you with the footage of me winning the game and the last fight without ever pressing a single button to win. Other than that, have a great week. Hit the notifications button so you make sure you get all the new videos, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Have a great time.